Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 13 of Force Sports Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Rob, and today with me is Josiah and Daniel. How you guys doing?
Doing well.
Not too shabby.
All right, and...
Oh, let me say one thing before we start with the sports talk.
Okay.
First off, if you haven't listened to our holiday special review, it's up on iTunes.
Go listen to it.
Go listen to it. It was a lot of fun introducing Rob to the horrible, awful thing that is the holiday special. So it's up on there. If you just subscribe or just look for it, it's up there.
Yep. And follow us on Facebook, Twitter at Force Sports Pod.
Yep.
All right.
All right. Let's get into your sports talk.
Okay. The first thing I have is the Rio Olympics going down. Okay, so other than the whole I'm not going to compete because of disease I could get type deal, what do you think about the Russians have been caught in the past for stuff with involving doping of their players to make them, faster, better, stronger, the whole idea of that, performance-enhancing drugs. What do you... And so...
What happened to the Russians? Did they...
So, originally it was thought...
This year,
since they discussed... Yeah, they were going to ban the Russians. The idea was to ban the Russians from this year's Olympics completely.
Like all Russians?
Like all Russians.
Not just like Russian swimmers. We're talking the whole country.
Yeah, the whole entire
So they can't
thing.
compete is what they were going to do?
Mm-hmm.
Did they do it?
They just came out today and said that the Russians will undergo, just like the rest of all Olympians, a rigorous
testing
drug test.
Okay.
But yeah, they're gonna go under a really intense drug testing. It's gonna be like...
Here's the thing though. If they've already done that in the past and they got away with it, are they changing anything to their testings?
Okay, so
they're making it rigorous.
They're making
how dangerous.
Rigorous. So anyways, but the Russians are supposedly gonna get caught if they are doping. So,
right, so they're still in.
If a Russian athlete wants to... Now, the whole track and field thing, that is... People are thinking that's still going to get completely taken from the Russians. Like, they're not going to be able to compete in track and field. Because that's the big
Hold
thing.
on. Let's be realistic, though. How many Russians are going to win a sprint?
That's true.
True. But...
I don't know much, but I know that.
And that's part of the reason they're probably doping their players. To win...
That's
to
true.
maybe compete in the sprint, the track and field. So, when you think about that, are the... you want to do good in the Olympics, but you want to win fair and square. So I don't see why they just don't ban the Russians completely this year, because
if they pass the test, then they shouldn't have to ban them as long as they pass the test, right?
Yeah, but it's like a statement. That test, what's it gonna do? What's it proved in the past? And there's ways to hand stuff under the table.
But this year it's rigorous.
Yeah, rigorous.
Daniel, what are your thoughts?
So, my first thought on this is that, number one, if it is the track and field guys, I don't care how much you dope, those Russians are not going to beat the Americans, they're not going to beat the Jamaicans, and the Caribbean island countries, because they've got the track and field sewn up and locked down for the last 12 years. Mm-hmm. I do know that I remember a few years ago that the Russian swim team had illegal swimsuits. How do you test for that? So they have many ways to get around it, because their swimsuits were made out of a certain type of synthetic rubber that was not legal. But I don't think we found that out until later on or something along those lines. So while doping is a key thing, it's not the only thing that you would need to worry about when it comes to cheating. If I'm with Josiah on this, though, I don't think you should ban the entire country. Just ban the people who are doping. That'd be no different than saying no, the United States baseball team cannot participate because there have been a couple guys who did PEDs. You just don't do that. Same thing. You don't do that for the entire team in any sport. So
Okay,
it's got to be on an individual basis.
But it's kind of, you got to think about it like this too. the idea of, okay, so you're sitting there in class or whatever, and the teacher gets the whole class in trouble because one of their students wouldn't fess up or one of their students did something. Okay, it's kind of like, okay, the other students will now tell the guy, don't do that next time or whatever. Like it's that type of deal. So I think that, like, if you banned those Russians this time completely, I think there's a whole lot less of a chance they're going to try it again and again and again.
Yeah, I could see both ways being the right way, but I don't know. Banning the whole country from competing in the Olympics is a little rough.
The thing
keep in mind one thing also. If you ban an entire country, there's some people that'll never get to compete again because in 4 years they may not be relevant. Mention. So that's really hard to do that to somebody. And to the same example of getting an entire class in trouble, when the class gets in trouble, it's typically reprimand related or behavioral related and has nothing to do with like test scores, which is performance related.
It's true. Good point.
Okay. But, at the same time, they're still doing something bad.
Agree.
So
I think what they should do is if they do catch people in the future at doing cheating or whatever, they should make it harsher punishments. Not saying like kill them, but I don't know what the punishment is now. I don't know, get your medals taken away, but there should be some type of fine, excessive fine or something. There probably is a fine, but
that would be interesting if the fine went to the country. Then the country would be a good incentive.
Yeah,
to not cheat, right?
Yeah.
And then it doesn't affect the individuals who didn't do anything wrong. Yes. I like that. That's a good idea.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Look at the guy who doesn't know anything about sports coming on the sports podcast.
You're doing something, Josiah.
You're welcome, Russia. You're welcome.
Oh man,
what's next?
Josiah's gonna get a fruit basket from Putin.
Oh man. Getting back from world sports news back into American news with kind of American news. The National Basketball Association. So, the Summer League's over. It's done. The Bulls won it, and
they actually have a winner for the Summer League?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, the Summer League's been getting bigger and bigger over several years. So, the Bulls won it, and now I'm wondering, mostly Daniel on this because I don't know if you know.
I'll just sit back.
But, okay, so who do you think had the best draft and Summer League?
That's a really good question because I don't think that's the same answer because the best draft, in my opinion, I think the Sixers got Ben Simmons is as good as advertised, okay?
He's the real deal?
As long as he's healthy, I think he's the real deal. Some of the passes that he was making, the average like person, they just don't see it the way he does. And so I think he's the clear front runner in my mind for Rookie of the Year just from what I've seen there because the other guys, while they did pretty decent, he just really, really shined. So I think who stole it in the draft? I'm going to say the Sixers, even though I don't think it's going to make a difference.
So Josiah's team stole it in the draft.
They did well in the draft, but that's not going to mean that they're going to even make the playoffs because in basketball, one man can't do that.
Yeah.
However, who won the Summer League? So my first thought is, it's the Bulls, but keep in mind, none of the main stars are playing in this.
Yeah.
So you've got to factor in that these are all people trying to make the team for the most part.
So I thought, honestly, in the draft, who got the biggest steal for me was, and possibly one of the best draft picks, was the Bulls with Denzel Valentine.
That's a good point.
Denzel Valentine is the real deal. I don't care how old he is. He's going to come in, immediately help your team.
How old is he?
He's a senior in college. So
one of the few guys who can say they went to school for 4 years and still make the NBA.
Yeah. So I think he can make a solid difference and impact immediately, which is the difference between him and a couple other guys, kind of like Thon Maker, who's a high schooler. He could make a difference, but he's not going to make as big as a difference as
he looks like he's 40.
Thon Maker?
Yeah.
And he's he just graduated high school like 2 years ago. So you think about that because he didn't do the whole college thing. He just waited it out type deal. So and then I think let's see. What do you think about Buddy Hield?
In my mind, jury's still out on him.
Mm-hmm.
Because he had obviously a great college career.
Yeah.
But I think now that he's in the big leagues, I really think you're going to see some of his numbers come down.
Yeah, you're starting to see. That's an example where you start to see it be almost a disadvantage to go to college that long, because when you're in college that long, you can look really good, but then come with the big boys.
Yeah, you're right.
And then all of a sudden, it's like, oh, dang, it just got real, you know? And you don't want to be on that rookie contract or D-League contract your whole life, or your whole basketball career, so you want to kind of move on up the rankings. And it's tough because a lot of people wanted Buddy Hield. A lot of people liked him. A lot of Celtics fans were going after Buddy Hield and thinking, oh, well, this would be a good third-round pick because, of course, Simmons and Ingram are going to go 1 and 2. You know, I think this would be a good third-round pick. But you have to think at the same time, was Dargan Bender? What about Dargan Bender? I mean, he's a big man. He's got a lot of developing to do. But do you take somebody like Dargan Bender over a, more aged Denzel Valentine or Buddy Hield or somebody like that? I think I would take Denzel Valentine over, just me personally, over Simmons, because I think Denzel is better now. And I think a lot of the problem the NBA has is it's a watered down league in the fact that they're too afraid to pick aging players. They're too afraid to pick, and they're not even aging. They're just out of college. And
they're just 22.
Yeah, so they're not aging, okay? They're not like super old or anything yet. They're just too afraid to pick them. And I think that Denzel Valentine is better than Ben Simmons right now and can help the 76ers way more than Ben Simmons can right now, because he's got a better shot, he's got a better body frame, in my opinion, and he's not as much as passing and ball handling, but scoring the basketball, I think Denzel does a lot better than Ben Simmons does. Well, I think that is a reason it's a watered down league. People are too afraid to pick seniors out of college.
No, I'm with you. Good stuff.
So yeah, and we also saw in the draft. What did you think about? Speaking of the top two, what did you think about Brandon Ingram and the Lakers this year?
I actually think he's going to do something. He's filling a big hole. I mean,
yeah.
The one thing that I think is the problem for the Lakers isn't Ingram. Ingram's, I think, is a bright spot. I think D'Angelo Russell's a nutcase, and they've got a lot of things to work out with him. But I like their new head coach. I like the direction they're heading for sure.
Now, did Luke Walton officially sign on?
I thought he did. He might not have. Maybe it's still, in talks. But I really thought that he was the next guy in line.
Okay, I did too as well. And then going down that list, you have Brown and Bender. What do you think about Jaylen Brown?
Jaylen Brown was a good surprise for me, actually. I didn't pay much attention to him in college.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't really, because he was on the west side of the U.S., so you're not going to get as many of those games. Us being on the east side, it's hard to really see the University of California players,
especially when that team didn't really do much.
Yeah, and they're not extremely relevant or anything, but
right.
They had a very bright spot apparently in Jaylen Brown at 19. So I think that honestly, in the draft for me, I think what Danny Ainge was thinking was, okay, I'm gonna pick a draft pick that I could possibly trade, but I can live with if I don't get a trade. And I think that was the idea behind Jaylen Brown. I think the top two were very different. These are like, okay, we're getting these players and we're keeping these players for a long time or as long as we can. I think, and then you go to Jaylen Brown and Dargan Bender. Those looked like two that you're ready to immediately, if you get a really good trade offer, you're immediately thinking, okay, I think I'm going to trade this. Or you're like, I don't really like that trade as much. I'm going to try to look for something better. And that's the difference between, I think, the rest of the draft and how that went and the top two.
I think that's really good. Only because the NBA drafts on potential, right? So whenever I saw those names get drafted, my first thought was, one, who are these guys?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And then two is I didn't want to fault them because they may have been on a team that just terrible. Because like I said, when you only have one guy, he can only carry you so far.
Yeah.
So you look at the size of these two individuals. The size sounds NBA, and they generally draft based on potential. So maybe they've shown things in their games that are going to make it work. And while it may have been a little bit of just a shot in the dark, it's paying off.
Now, there's a reason I think Jaylen Brown went over Dargan Bender in this case, and it's not related to size. It's related to versatility. I think Jaylen Brown can guard more positions than Bender can. Because Bender, you look at him, he's real tall, skinny, and when you think about his length, that's great to have, but he's not going to be able to move as fast as Jaylen Brown and guard a point guard, a shooting guard, or maybe a small forward, as well as Bender could guard just two positions, like a center and possibly a power forward. We don't even know yet. So, when it comes down to that, I think that's the reason Brown went over Bender in this case. And as well as the rest of the league, Jamal Murray, how did you think about his summer league?
No, I think Jamal Murray had a great summer league. What drove me a little bit nuts, I'm a Louisville fan.
Oh, yeah.
So whenever Jamal Murray played against Damian Lee, everyone was talking trash and saying,
yeah, they got into it.
Yeah, it was a little crazy because Jamal Murray played a lot more minutes. And so naturally he's going to have more opportunities to score. Lee played, I think, what did he play? Like 17 minutes and had 15 points. He hit 5 threes in 17 minutes. That's great accuracy. That's pretty impressive. And then you got Murray who shot like 20 times to get,
And in my opinion, it's like, okay, so you're going to leave a kid just because, I think it was seriously because of this. If you're going to leave a kid like Damian Lee out of the draft completely, skip over him, not worry about it, but pick him up in, afterwards. And it's like, come on, man. Seriously, you're not going to pick up somebody with this type of accuracy, this type of NBA speed, versatility, over, and you're going to pick the young kids over this guy. He could really come in and help a team, shooting wise, definitely. But, defensively is where he struggles a little bit. But, he can always pick that up. You can always, and you're going to get better. You're going to get better as long as you play every day and you just focus on your game. And that's what I think the difference is between these young guys and these older guys. You saw it last year with D'Angelo Russell, where he was more willing to go off and talk about his teammates or something than he was just to stay in the gym, stay quiet, and, keep to himself. And, I think that's one of the reasons Tim Duncan is such a great player and was such a great player now because he's retired, was because he was just going to keep to himself, support his teammates, and do the right thing on and off the court. So,
yeah, there's something to be said about maturity for sure.
Yeah, so that's one reason I really like picking up seniors as well and older players. But they're not even that old. They're just like you said, they're 22. So, and then another person who had a great summer league, in my opinion, is Chris Dunn.
I didn't see much of what he did.
Okay, so Dunn, he had.
I feel like Josiah all of a sudden.
Yes, I agree.
So Dunn got drafted to the Timberwolves, and that is a team that is in, I don't want to say desperation mode, but they could use a big lift, and especially off the bench. Chris Dunn was going crazy out there. He would cross people up in summer league, just completely. He'd really destroy you off the dribble. And he was out of Providence. And just I think Chris Dunn is a great point guard just because of his playmaking. His playmaking and speed alone just makes him a very, just a very observant player. It makes him a very talented player through the just knowing where to go with the ball, knowing where to pass the ball, knowing where everybody is at on the court, even though he doesn't even know you, he doesn't know where you're, he hadn't played with you for years, but he already knows what you're doing, what you're thinking about doing. And he was really talented to me. I think that he had a chance to be in the top 3, honestly. But I guess those teams just weren't looking at him like that, like top 3 material. But, I think he could be a future, honestly, in my opinion, I think he could be a player a lot like Allen Iverson. I think he's that talented.
That's a big statement. Josiah knows who that guy is.
Yes, I do.
You're a 76ers fan. Now you got to know the player.
Yeah. They're still winning next year. I'm calling.
Okay. Just because of who?
That Allen Iverson guy was on the team.
No, Ben Simmons, because of Ben Simmons.
Ben Simmons.
Yeah, there you go. Okay.
I'm sorry, it's really hot in here. I'm sorry.
Okay.
What else do we got?
You got the weird sport of the week.
Oh, yes. Let's do the weird sport of the week. Go, Daniel.
Okay. Today's sport is something that there's a big event coming up on October 8th, 2016. The 17th annual North American Wife Carrying Championships kickoff.
Yes.
For those of you who don't know what that is,
Josiah will be competing in that.
Yeah.
Whoever wins from the United States will participate in the World Championships in Finland, which they just had back in the first start of the month, back in the beginning of July. Okay, so wife carrying, if you've never seen it, it's an obstacle course race, okay, where the husband carries the wife, and you have basically 3 modes in which you can carry somebody. Okay, so you can carry them traditional way. The traditional way is where your wife is upside down with her legs wrapped around the husband's neck, so like her feet are in your face. Okay. And so that's the traditional way. They do allow for the regular. They do allow for a regular piggyback.
Yeah, she's hanging on.
So like her legs are literally.
Her legs are like around your neck almost.
Oh my goodness.
Not around them, but near them, and her head's
I feel like
down
that
by
would
your
be
legs.
that would be too painful to hang on.
What's the next way to carry your wife?
Is your typical like a piggyback?
Piggyback. Yep.
Okay.
That seems a little bit easier.
That's a little easier. Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe not.
It's whatever's comfortable to your wife.
Is there a third way?
There is a third way, but I don't know that anybody really acknowledges it. But I will tell you, here's the crazy part. There are water hazards. So if you think about it, if they go the traditional way, which is called the Estonian carry, guess what happens?
They're in the water. Their faces in the water.
Faces are in the water.
The wife's head is down by your leg.
Yeah.
And so if you're running through water, her head is in the water.
Yeah.
Probably muddy water, I would assume.
Yeah, based on the pictures, it's definitely muddy. And it's done in a dual format, so it's a bracket, so it'd be me and my wife versus you and your wife, and then whoever won that would face off in the next round in a bracket style. So it's a couple versus couple.
Now, they do, is it a time trial, or is it they're both going at the same time, and then whoever wins? Or do they just go individually?
So you're competing against the other person for the fastest time. But they typically, when it comes to the national championships, it is one at a time.
Okay, like Ninja Warrior or something on TV?
Correct.
Okay.
And it'll vary. I think the World Championship might do it at the same time. But one of the big problems is in North America, we make it way too easy. It's a pretty flat course, whereas in Finland, it's extremely uneven ground. Oh, wait a minute. I take it back. It's the other way around. So in Finland, it's relatively flat. Here we make it harder, and it's uneven ground with hills and slopes and stuff like that.
That's awesome.
Here's some of the obstacles. So you have log hurdles. Guys, don't miss the log hurdles or your wife will get a concussion.
Right.
It's at your feet. There are sand traps. There is what's called the Widowmaker, which is the water hazard, which is frozen water. So it's water that's been thawed, but it's ice cold.
Oh, that's not good.
So,
is there like rocks and stuff in there? Do you wear water shoes or what do you do?
That's a good question. I don't know that there's any official gear that comes with this.
Okay. Probably whatever you want.
Yeah, I'm assuming so. Yeah. So, okay. Here's the other carry type. It's the fireman carry, which is over the shoulder.
That's what I'm thinking. One-handed.
Yeah. The length of the official track is 253 meters. So the winner gets the wife's weight times 5 in beer.
Oh wow!
That's all. That's the prize.
Let's do some math. A person weighs 150, just to make it math. 150 times 5 is what, Rob? Go.
Huh?
Rob, you don't know?
I'm kidding.
I don't know either. Daniel?
750, I think.
I think that's correct.
Yeah.
Okay, so you get 750 what?
Ounces.
Ounces?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, hold on.
Pounds.
I want to share one other great stat if you don't have to participate with your wife. It says you can use your neighbor's wife if you wanted to, or a close friend. But it says there is a minimum weight, and if they don't meet the minimum weight, they make you carry the female as well as a backpack to make it at least even.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So
wait, you don't actually have to be married, or the wife doesn't actually have to be married?
That's correct.
Wow, that's
now initially, whenever this started a long time ago, that was the rule, but that has since changed.
Right. Well,
and here's one great one is that there's a couple in 2013 that the roles were reversed.
Oh.
And so the winner in Great Britain, the wife carried the husband.
Oh my.
So
is this husband really a small guy?
I don't know, but that's the first time that had ever happened.
And she actually won?
It doesn't say they won.
Oh, I thought you said the winner. Okay, sorry.
No, it
just wanted
definitely
to get recognized.
Hey, that's cool though.
So on Columbus Day weekend in October is when this takes place.
Wow.
Columbus Day.
Do they show this on TV? Please say yes.
I don't know if it's on television, but if it is, I say we tune in.
I say we tune in, we'll talk about it, do a little, review of the coverage.
Should petition ESPN.
Yeah.
So, what do you think the world record is for the amount of time? So it's 253 meters.
Side note, how long is that?
Do you know how to convert that?
No.
If it's 253 meters, that's 830 feet. Okay. So if you had to think of that in terms of length of, let's say, football fields, things like that, okay? It's roughly 3 football fields long. It's 2.5, 2 2/3 roughly.
I thought he was asking in yards. Never mind.
Okay.
Okay. So it's almost 3 football fields long. You have your wife on your back, usually carried Estonian style upside down. Mm-hmm. You have 2 water hazards and you have 2 dry hazards. What do you think the world record is?
I'd say 1.5 minutes.
Robbie?
That may not even be close.
I'm gonna say 45 seconds.
Wow, 45 seconds.
Crap.
I'm just gonna say something because there's these crazy fast people. Okay, go.
It's actually 55.5 seconds.
So you were actually closer than me.
Yeah, I was.
They're hoofing it.
Wow.
So.
That's crazy.
That's insane.
So that is the weird sport of the week.
I mean, you got to really commit. What happens if you drop your wife? You're not only going to deal with...
That's a good question. Is it disqualified when you...
Well, you're not only going to deal with a DQ, you're probably going to deal with an angry wife later after she...
Yeah,
I don't believe it's a DQ, but you do need to pick her up.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to try to find some music for that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of music, but
You can do the Star Wars one.
No.
The cantina music.
You can do that, or you can do
the one from the holiday
trumpet
special?
one. Yeah, the holiday.
That is not okay.
I might add that in. Email questions? Alright. We got one email question from... Let me look this up. Alright, so this email question came through Twitter, actually. From Greg Durbin. Greg says, holiday special / Star Wars question that needs an answer. Why didn't Chewbacca look like Itchy in The Force Awakens? Now, for people who may have not listened to our holiday special review, okay, there's this thing in the Star Wars universe, unfortunately, called the Star Wars Holiday Special. It was made in the 70s.
It's probably the best Star Wars movie out there. You need to go watch it.
It's awful, okay? So, in the movie, basically, Chewbacca's dad is named Itchy, which is actually not his actual name. He has like a long name.
Wait, what?
Nickname.
Really?
Yeah, his nickname is Itchy. But
does that mean the son's name is not really
Lumpy?
Lumpy?
They're all nicknames. Like, they have longer versions of that name.
Lumpaford.
I guess Chewie is a short name for Chewbacca.
Right.
So.
I guess that was the thinking. I don't know what idiot thought Itchy would be a good, or Lumpy. But anyway, so there's a character in the holiday special. You can YouTube it and look it up and watch it. Just start it. If you just start the holiday special, just fast forward to like 5 minutes, it's the gray-looking, Chewbacca-looking guy.
Yes.
He was like gray, like he was old.
Yes.
Right? So why doesn't Chewbacca, fast forward from the originals to Force Awakens, why doesn't he look old like that?
Because
Rob, I want to hear your input first.
To George Lucas and to the Disney Star Wars universe, the holiday special never existed.
That is true. Yep.
So what's the point in including a fact from forever ago and making Chewbacca look old and crippled?
I mean, if you want to answer the question, why didn't he look like that? Probably the first thing is they didn't want to scare children because Itchy looks very creepy in that holiday special. Am I right?
It's hideous. It's
got like that underbite, you know.
There's a nightmare component to this guy's look.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's just
the whole movie is like a nightmare.
Yeah,
but it's like you don't understand.
Like whenever he talks, like his bottom whole jaw like comes up.
Yeah,
it's like really like
it's like a Muppet. He almost reminded me of a Muppet.
Yeah, but like in universe, the in-universe answer would probably be because Chewbacca's not that old yet, because they live up to in the 400s and beyond, around 400 or beyond.
And Han's still alive.
And Chewbacca's just not there yet. I don't know the actual age of Chewbacca. Probably need to look that up. But
I mean, Han you saw in 7 was looking older.
Yeah,
and
I mean, but we don't know how old Chewbacca was in the original trilogy. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it's out there, but I don't know it off the top of my head.
It's probably like 150.
It's probably something like that.
Why 150?
I'm gonna look that up.
It's just, I don't know. I just got the feeling, you know. It's 150. Watch him be like close. I'm gonna see if he's close.
What if he's like 17?
168.
Oh.
Robbie, you get some serious props there, buddy.
It just felt right.
I guess that was. Now this was his age right before episode 4, right? So he was 168. So fast forward that to now, like 30, maybe 40 years.
Yeah.
I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So he'd be about what?
Come on, that's easy math now. Add 40 years to 160.
Do it.
Oh yeah, 200.
There you go. This is not a math podcast.
No, I was looking at you. I thought you were doing it. I wasn't even.
Okay, so he'd be about 208 ish.
Okay.
So that's why he doesn't drive the Falcon, because he's not old enough to drive.
All right, he doesn't have his driver's license yet. He doesn't even have his permit. Right?
But I mean, he is at the halfway point in life, so he should be able to drive.
That's a good point. Actually, you make a good point. He's like going through midlife crisis right now, buying.
He's dyeing his Wookiee hair.
I think he
maybe that's what it is. He's been dyeing his hair. He actually is gray-haired underneath, but he's been dyeing his hair because he feels self-conscious about himself.
I think he's updated his bowcaster too to make it cooler, way more powerful.
Sure, yeah.
Are you impressed that I knew what it was called?
No.
Dang it.
I know what a basketball is called.
Come on, man.
And we'll end that email there. I don't know. Dan, you got anything else for that?
No. I think you answered it. You know more about the Wookiee life cycle than I ever thought you would. So,
no, that was a fun question. I like those fun questions where it's like you don't really have to like think too hard, except for when you're adding ages together, you know.
So if the Wookiee can live up to 400 years, then what does that mean? How old was Yoda, and how old can Yoda live to?
He was 900.
He was 900 years old.
Yes.
How do you know that?
That's what I want to know.
Well, actually, I thought it was 800, but I looked it up. It's not.
Did they celebrate his birthday in one of the episodes?
They actually say it in Return of the Jedi.
Really?
Yoda says, when you are 900, you won't look this. Hang on, let me look at the exact quote.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit backwards if Yoda's talking.
Yeah, here we go.
When 900 years old you reach, look as good you were not.
Well done then. All right, okay.
Could you hear that through the microphone?
Yeah, I could hear it just fine.
Okay, so yeah, he said that in Return of the Jedi, but I guess so. That's an actual in canon. You don't have to go look at a book or nothing. So I'm not that smart when it comes to Star Wars. You know, I just pay attention when I watch movies. I'm like you guys.
To be fair, you don't pay attention to sports.
That's true. Good point.
Sports isn't a movie, though.
But I watched the Super Bowl.
So, okay.
Okay.
Who was the
hold on.
MVP this year?
I just want to point out that when I said that, both of y'all were like, okay, hold on. Okay.
No.
Oh, you want to go there?
Who was the MVP this year?
Peyton Manning.
Nope. Von Miller.
Okay, well, who is the guy in Force Awakens who worked at the marketplace and was basically the police guy? That's what I thought, Constable Zubio. So Zubio, but you didn't know that's it. But you watched the movie.
But I don't know his name.
That's right. I don't know his name, but I watched the Super Bowl. Boom.
Come on.
All
About
right.
what we're interested in.
Let's end the email question. This is dragging on far too long.
Okay.
No, but it was a good question. Thanks for the question, of course. It's great. Send in your question if you want to get it answered on the show for sure.
Yep.
So I had a question. It's Star Wars related though, so we can wait till next week or.
Bring it.
Okay. So me and Brad were talking about this. Is it still possible for Rey to move to the dark side?
I say 100% yes, and I think she's going that way.
No.
Yeah, so let me tell you why. Because in the novelization of The Force Awakens.
Is that Bloodline or something, or is it actually called that?
No, it's the novelization. So every movie they put out, they have a novelization that goes along with it, where they go more in depth on what the character's thinking and that kind of stuff.
So it follows the same
it follows
story arc?
the same story arc. They add some stuff in there that's not in the movies. In The Force Awakens novelization, at the end, when she's like about to kill Kylo, when she defeats Kylo and he's laying on the ground, Rey actually hears the voice of Snoke telling her to kill him, and she feels like the dark side raging inside of her.
Why would you leave that out of the movie?
Because J.J. Abrams too scared to go there. I don't really know. It would just be too weird.
No, that would be awesome.
No, I would think it'd be awesome, but for the general audience, they'd be like, "What is happening?" Some old guy's talking to her and she's hearing things. I don't think it would really fly well with the movie.
General Snoke is
Supreme Leader Snoke. Yep.
So the guy in the hologram, the big guy in the hologram.
Yeah, he's not really that big, but yes.
Okay, so he's trying to seduce her.
No, what happens is Snoke is
to the dark side.
Yeah, thank you for finishing your sentence. Okay,
they say
that
it
pause
like that.
did not help you at
They
all.
say it like that though. They say it like that.
No, okay, let me explain.
Okay.
Okay, so
Okay.
whenever Snoke feels that Kylo has been defeated, and he's thinking, "Oh man, this chick is bad. I want her on my team," and so he's like, "Kill him and join me," basically.
But she doesn't.
Right. Okay. So okay.
So she's not gonna go bad because Rey is amazing.
Okay. So let's be for real. What do you think, Rob? Will she go bad or not? She gonna
No.
stay good? What?
She's gonna be good.
She's gonna be good.
You know why?
Why?
Because who else is gonna be the Jedi, the leader of all the Jedi.
Luke.
Once Luke passes on, though.
Now, do you say, when you ask that, do you mean is she going to go to the dark side and come back like later? Or
No.
is it just she's
She's
going to
gonna
stay
be good and stay good.
Okay, so she's going to be good and stay good. She's never going to be tempted by the dark side and fall.
She's gonna
saying
be tempted. Yeah, she'll be tempted, but
she won't give
fall.
in.
Exactly.
I think she will be tempted and she'll give in and then she'll come back.
You think it'll
That's
be
what
like
I
that?
think. What do you think, Daniel?
I absolutely think she's going to, and I think that would only make the storyline better.
Way better. Yeah, I
Well,
agree.
If she does give in, you got to think about, though, that'd be pretty cool, because think about Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren gave in to the dark side, but felt the pull to the light again, you know, and then his father went out to kind of save him. Well, what if her father turns out to be Luke and tries to save her, or
It's not
going to
be Luke. If it's Luke, I'll be disappointed.
her love interest, which I would say is Finn.
Not
at
Finn.
this-
No.
I think it will be.
No.
Rey, if anybody, she'll be with Poe, or I know I'd get into this, but I'd potentially say Kylo.
You're on drugs, but
I'd put Kylo ahead of Finn.
because
That.
when you're on the dark side, there
She
is no
kissed-
such thing as love.
I'm telling you, he
She
feels
kissed
that.
Finn.
He feels that light. He feels that draw. And if they did it, they could do it. I mean, Anakin killed children, and he's good now.
What could they do?
What?
What are you saying?
They could turn him good.
They could turn him good.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think they could. They'd have to go about it really, really good, but it could go really wrong quick if they do it wrong.
I mean, she kissed Finn though.
Yeah,
at
on the
end.
forehead. That's friend zone all
and
the way.
she said "friend" afterwards. So I don't know.
They won't be together.
He's in the friend zone.
Yeah. I'd say Poe is your best chance, or a new character.
Okay. So, but anyways, her love interest, whoever, what if she goes bad and her love interest changes her?
Possibly.
Do you think that's a good little storyline thing to do?
I could see it happening. Yeah, for sure.
I think that would be pretty epic. Do you think okay, so in the next movie, what do you think will happen? Do you think that her character will waver and fall and come back, or waver, fall, and then come back in the next movie?
I don't think she will waver in the next movie. And if she does waver at all or be tempted, it'll be the very end. And she might hint at turning to the dark side, but she won't. I think this next movie, she will be the good side of the Force that'll bring Luke back because he doesn't want to come back. And she'll be the person to say, no, you have to come back. I think that's what we're going towards.
So it's going to be awesome.
I think she's going to have to talk Luke back into the Force. Like, say, no, you weren't this... because if you think about it, all these Jedi, possibly, that were in his school or whatever, all got killed by Kylo and the Knights. So he probably feels like crap and doesn't want anything to do with the Force or Jedi or anything like that ever again.
Yeah.
So I think she's going to be the one to come along and say, no, we could still come back and win, or you still need to come back and help us, or whatever. What do you think, Daniel?
Man, I don't know.
It's really hard to say.
Definitely is. If I had to guess at what track this went down, maybe. Oh, but I just got an opinion. Easy, kiddo. I would say here's how I'm going to play this out. I agree with you that she doesn't turn in the next one, and it will happen in the last one of this set of three.
Right.
Because this set of three trilogy. I also think that if she does turn bad, she will be the one to kill Skywalker.
That'd be that would be really good.
What a way to end the Skywalker lineage.
Yeah.
Do you think a main character will die in this next movie?
No. Well, what do you mean main
No.
character?
Like
The big three?
Like a Poe, a Leia, a Chewbacca, a Finn.
Yes.
Finn?
Poe and Finn are in danger,
Poe and Finn.
I think.
Okay.
Finn more so than the others.
Yeah. It definitely won't
Finn's
be...
on his deathbed right now.
This next movie,
Almost.
Leia and Luke are not dying. And Finn is not on his deathbed. He's fine.
He's kind of...
They confirmed he's going to be in the next movie walking
Okay,
around and
never
doing
mind
stuff.
then.
So
Never
he'll be
mind.
fine. But I think he might die.
You
Good
think he'll
chance.
die? I don't...
I think the best who I would say would die is Snoke. Next movie. I could
What
see
about
him
Kylo?
dying. I don't see Kylo down next
They
movie.
need a villain, so
If
Kylo
I think
has
they
to.
could kill Snoke next episode 8 and get away with it. It'd be really good.
I feel like they need to feel like a overwhelming.
See, I don't
presence.
think they should kill Snoke in 8.
You don't think so?
I think.
I don't think they should
yeah.
because it would feel too much like killing the Emperor.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if they killed him in the next one after that, episode 9, it'd really feel like killing the Emperor, you know?
Yeah, either way.
I think they surprise everybody, kill Snoke, Kylo becomes the new guy, or even Benicio del Toro, we don't know who his character is. Maybe he comes in, he's a dark side user, you never know.
True.
Who knows? I mean, some people know, we don't know. But, you got anything else? No? Daniel, you got anything else?
No, sir.
Alright, so if you guys want to follow us on Twitter, you can follow us at ForceSportsPod. Email us your questions at forcesportspod@gmail.com. And also give us a review on iTunes if you could. We greatly appreciate it. But that will be it for this week. Next week, we've got Brad coming on. And we're going to be doing a contest between me and Brad. We're both going to pitch Rob a potential Star Wars video game that we would like to see. And we're going to see who pitches the best idea. And Rob and Daniel.
So it's like a
will
Shark
judge.
Tank.
Yes. So you guys can be the judges, and it'll be a lot of fun. But hopefully there'll be some Star Wars news. Hopefully we'll get that trailer leaked. I was with all the trailers from Comic-Con this past week or weekend. I was like, this makes perfect sense why they didn't release the Rogue One trailer. So quite possibly we could get a trailer later this week. I hope. We'll see. But that's it for this week.
You're living for that trailer, man.
I really want it really
Yeah.
bad. All right, well, that's it for this episode. We'll talk to you guys next week.